this year because of everything that's going on right now. Why was it so important to have this demonstration on this day at this time?
Because I think God has allowed a pandemic to have us seated long enough to see that what we have been saying down through the years really happens in our everyday lives. But to see it happen right on television, right before your very eyes, back from slavery to Emmett Till, to the message and era of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, to now George Floyd, and most recently, Rayshard Brooks. Every day that we step out of our homes, we are in fear that we are being judged by the color of our skin and not the content of our character.
That's something that has been going on in this country for way too long. By the way, I love the face mask, by the way, too. looking great. Guys, this is what we've been seeing out here. People have been out here standing in solidarity. This has all been a peaceful protest, peaceful march, peaceful demonstration, recognizing Juneteenth, but also the times that we're living in right now. You can see that a lot of the chairs out here are separated like at least 6 feet apart. People have been social distancing other than people who they came with or probably live with. And as you saw even from our interview, people are wearing their face masks because, as they said before, all this is going on right now during a pandemic. So this program is going to be going on for a little bit longer. They're going to have more speakers come up. They had some African drum players out here. They also had people doing chants, and that's something that's unique to the African-American culture, chanting, singing. This is how people have worked to find some sort of peace. And we're going to continue to stay out here and monitor this situation and let you all know what's going on. We'll continue to be out here. I want to show you all real quick. You got a whole DJ out here as well doing their thing with the Black Lives Matter in the background. I love that. And then as you continue to walk through here, what's going on? How you doing today? Good. Survivor on your mask there. I love that.
Yes, breast cancer survivor.
Breast cancer survivor, and here people are trying to survive another fight here too. What does this mean to you as a breast cancer survivor to be out here fighting for these causes too?
I was here very young when they did the Martin Luther King demonstration, so I was so young. Now that I've come through the breast cancer and able to witness what is going on now, it means hopefully that Congress and our president can see what we've been going through all these years.
Right, I love that. Again, everybody out here for their own different reasons, you guys. We're going to continue to stay out here and bring you all the very latest. But for now, I'm reporting in downtown DC, in Northwest DC actually. Michael Quander, back to you.
Yeah, these gatherings also a moment of healing for a lot of people there. Michael Quander there in Northwest DC. Thank you so much. All right, we want to get to some more breaking news we're following right now at noon. DC is expected to enter phase 2 of reopening on Monday. That will allow restaurants to offer indoor seating at half of their normal capacity. Retail businesses can reopen with some restrictions, of course, and people can take a dip in swimming pools and attend church services again, also at half capacity. And gatherings will be permitted with 50 people or fewer. Again, DC entering phase 2 on Monday, the 22nd. DC Mayor Muriel Bowser joining us by phone right now to talk about some of the specifics. Do we have you there, Madam Mayor? All right, I heard a dial tone there. I'm not sure if we have you. All right. We'll get back to the mayor in just a moment again to talk about what we're expecting in phase 2 and some of the questions we have for her about some of the metrics they've been following to get to this point and make that decision to, again, move into phase 2 on June 22nd. But I do want to tell you that Montgomery County is kicking off phase 2 of its reopening at 5 p.m. this evening. Here's what that means. Indoor dining at restaurants limited at 50% of capacity, just like DC. In-store shopping with limits on capacity as well. Customers are allowed inside of salons and barber shops by appointments only. Houses of worship open with limits on capacity too. And parks and playgrounds and gyms can open with restrictions in place. As always, you are still encouraged to practice social distancing and wear a mask when you are in public places. We're going to work on getting the mayor back on the phone there, and we will talk with her in just a minute. All right, moving on now back to our Juneteenth coverage. Many politicians, celebrities, and sports figures are also out right now talking about the importance of this day. Our sports director, Darren Haynes, is in Southeast D.C., where Washington Wizards and Mystics players are marching to the MLK Memorial. Hey, D.
Hey, Lorenzo. Yeah, right now we're walking actually past the Washington Monument. We started at Capital One Arena. We're walking to the Martin Luther King Memorial. But as you can see behind me, the Wizards and Mystics all together, marching. I'll give you a better look at this.
Together, we stand. Together, we stand. Together,
But you see Natasha Cloud, who has been a huge voice during this protest. She was in Philadelphia protesting her own. She has her fist up there. Bradley Beal also spoke with the Wizards fans. And one of the things that Bradley Beal was mentioning was the fact that, oh, Natasha Cloud gives a what's up, but one thing that meant a lot to Bradley Beal was the fact that he wanted to actually come out and do something this time. He's seen a lot of killings as far as in black people within the community because of the hands of police officers, and he wanted to come out and actually do something. This was actually Natasha Cloud's idea, and it all came together, and this is what you see as of right now as we walk to the Martin Luther King Memorial, Lorenzo.
There, loud and clear, together we stand. Our Darren Haynes, thank you so much. We'll check back with you in just a minute. And we want to continue our coverage now with our Megan Rivers. She's not too far away from where Darren is right now. She's at the National Museum of African American History and Culture on Constitution Avenue there. And Megan, what's the mood there?
Well, it's a very calm mood, Lorenzo. They already have the streets blocked off along 14th and Madison, but I want to point out to the group that's kind of behind us. So behind us, there's a smell. You can smell the sage burning in the area. There's a flute playing, and they're doing yoga, and they're praying, and they're chanting, and it's the most calming spirit. I wish I could articulate it, what it feels like to be out here in this moment. But I'm joined now with the Palm Collective. They're behind me. They're getting ready to have the Freedom Day March, and they're going to be marching today in just a few minutes. They're going to be gathering in this location. I'm joined now with one of the organizers, Kevin Creamer. And can you tell me about what's happening here today and why you guys are marching on Juneteenth?
So today is the Freedom Day March. The reason why we're marching is just for freedom and justice. And despite of all the calamity happening in the country, we've realized that the federal government of the United States has disvalued Black lives, that they do not care. So today we are out to unify the collective, which is everybody, every race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality. We all play our role, and it's up to us to reshape this country and our image, because justice is literally in the palm of our hands. So that's how we're out here today, to march for freedom. True freedom, the freedom to think, believe, act as oneself without hindrance and without restrictions.
And what does Juneteenth mean to you when you hear that? And it's a history lesson for a number of people in our nation right now. But what does it mean for you to celebrate it today?
So when I think of Juneteenth, I think about that in 1863, Abraham Lincoln, he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed the slaves or captured Africans. But due to oppression, due to supremacy, and due to lack of communication, we were unable to receive the message down in Texas. So then in 1865, enslaved Africans finally heard that they were free. So for me personally, it means that we have the ability to be free, but we are living in options, in obedience. So that's why it's so important that we rally together, that we support, that we promote, document, and finance the movement, because without it, we can never live in utter and everlasting peace. So today, for me, Juneteenth is a celebration of Black culture, and we say we're celebrating freedom, but in actuality, Black people, white people, Asian people, people of all different races and ethnicities know that we are living in conditional freedom.
All right, thank you so much, Kevin. Again, the Palm Collective is gathering here just in front of the African American Museum. It's the Freedom Day March. They'll meet here at 1. The march will begin at 2. They'll march towards the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, and then they'll end at the Lincoln Memorial. And we'll be with them the entire step of the way, bringing you that coverage on air and online. But that's the latest from out here. I'm Megan Rivers. Lorenzo, I'll send things back to you.
Conditional freedom, some fine points from my brother there. Megan Rivers, thank you so much. And again, these demonstrations and gatherings are happening all across the district right now. Here's another one, a live look at Freedom Plaza. You can see a number of people gathered there. We're going to get more information about what's taking place at Freedom Plaza in just a minute. And more rain is expected to dampen some of these protests. Mary Marshall is tracking a few storms. We're going to check in with her in just a minute. Stay right here.
What awareness are you guys trying to raise today? Just because I know it's hard for people to hear me with my mask. Awareness you guys are trying to raise today. Why was it important today to come out and do this? Does that work? Okay. Hey, sorry, I can hear you. Okay, sounds good.
Because slavery is a painful period. Maybe you should stop teaching about slavery and start teaching about Black people during the time of slavery. Let me tell you what's different. Let me tell you about American Revolution, my ancestors fighting on both sides as black loyalists and black patriots. After the American Revolution, my ancestors were writing fiery reports like David Walker, putting the end to
And where's your school you teach at?
I taught at Turner Elementary.
Okay.
I'll be transitioning next year, though. Does that matter?
No, where's the new school?
Tubman Elementary.
Where's that at?
Northwest.
Okay.
So, yeah, different group of students.
There was a state slave by the name of Garza.
So we're going to go over the demands, right?
Yeah, if you know them off. If you know them offhand. If you do. So, right, what awareness are you guys trying to raise today? Why is it important for students and teachers to be out here together? And why it was important to do this on Juneteenth?
With the United States government and won their freedom through battle. Now, my daughter, who's right here, is in DC public school. I want her to have the kind of teachers who know this information and who's not afraid to teach about slavery. I want teaching about black people during the time of slavery. I want my daughter to be in a school system that is not talking about education reform. Because we don't need education reform, we need education to transform. So in this day, we need to recognize all of the people who have given their lives because of a system that is broken. We also need to acknowledge our ancestors on this day in particular who gave their lives so that we have access to the things that we have right now. I'm also thinking about Brother Robert Smalls, who in South Carolina, back when the Civil War started,
What?
he decided
Sorry,
to see your eyes.
and plotting the ship
Do I need to take my
steal a
mask
ship
off?
from the Confederate
you can leave
War. He knew Morris code. He
These
knew
hats
that
are just
the
not big enough for my head.
Confederate soldiers like to go to an island
Talking to
and
the
get
mayor
drunk
and
every
then we'll
night.
come to
When they went to that island, he stole the ship and took it to the Union Army.
What?
He was one of the reasons why Abraham Lincoln decided to allow
Okay,
black
sounds good.
people to
Is that
enter
okay?
into the
Okay.
military.
Can I hold my son?
Because they said, if
We
this
got about
black
2
man,
minutes or so.
as an ex-slave, can steal a Confederate ship, then surely there are more out there like him, and there was. And so black people were the reason why the Union Army won the Civil War. We're about to celebrate 4th of July. Nobody during 4th of July say that Great Britain gave the United States independence. They say the United States fought for it.
We've seen sustained protests over the city for the last couple of weeks. Do you have an idea of the prevalence of this virus in the city? Are you worried about more people possibly contracting it and maybe finding out about how prevalent it is much later on?
No, we are seeing actually in the last 2 weeks, we've seen more testing in D.C. than we have and throughout the pandemic. So we know that more people have been out because of the reopening, because of demonstrations, and they're going to get tested if they think they need a test. And what we've seen is our positivity rate, the number of people who are positive, over all of those tests is really low. But that we still want people to listen to their bodies, get tested if they need to be tested, and isolate if they find out they're positive. And if they need help isolating from their family, please give us a call so we can help.
All right, what do you say to the business owner out there who's still saying, I'm not too sure that I want to take that next step. We've been operating just fine as is under phase 1. Or the person at home who keeps hearing about, new cases every day and people having to be hospitalized because of that. What would you say to those who are still reluctant to go forward with phase 2?
Well, I would say that everybody has to manage their own risk, and not everybody has the same level of risk. So if you, for example, are in one of the vulnerable categories, you should continue to limit your activity. And you should be paying attention to the businesses that you frequent to make sure that they're following all of the rules and all of the guidelines. But the virus is still out here. It's still circulating throughout the region. So we have to social distance, wear a mask, wash our hands frequently, and get a test if we need a test.
On that same note, Madam Mayor, have you been hearing from some people about businesses that haven't been following some of the restrictions you've had in place, for instance, with phase one?
Actually, I've been very impressed with how people, residents and businesses, are doing all of the right things. People are calling us, our health department, to ask for advice. They're submitting plans in some cases for our review. So people want to do the right thing. Listen, you don't go into business because you want your patrons to get sick or your employees to get sick and not to be able to come to work. So our business owners, just like all of us, have every incentive to use the best information to keep people safe. And I think that's what they're doing.
All right, we have about 10 seconds left. Today, obviously Juneteenth. We would normally have a parade in D.C. How are you marking this day?
Well, I will be marking this day by going to the African American History Museum to present them with our Black Lives Matter Plaza VDOT signage to make a part of their collection.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, Mayor Bowser, thank you so much. Appreciate the time, and you stay safe out there.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You bet. All right, new at noon, the George Preston Marshall Memorial statue is no longer in front of RFK Stadium. Events DC posted this video to their Facebook page this morning showing crews removing the statue of the original burgundy and gold founder. Now, the group said it received complaints about that statue, which it says represented a person who didn't believe in equality. For instance, he didn't integrate this team until 30 years after some of the other teams. He didn't believe in having black players on that team for quite a while. Now, in a statement, Events DC's board of directors and president called this move overdue. Now, back to some of our coverage of Juneteenth. Now, a lot of the focus in recent weeks has been on police reform, but students and teachers across D.C. are bringing attention to racial disparities in education. Our Colby Satterfield is at Freedom Plaza for the Black Students Matter March taking place. Hey, Colby.
Hey, Lorenzo, we are actually now at the Department of Education. Students, parents, and teachers gathered at Freedom Plaza and marched over here. You can see there's several hundred people out here today, and we're going to talk with the teacher really quick. Tell me, what awareness are you guys trying to raise today?
We're trying to raise awareness for June 19th. You all know that July 4th never represented independence for black people, so we thought it was important that we celebrate today to bring awareness on slaves being free.
And when it comes to children in education, what are you guys really pushing for? The key message that, we're outside the Department of Education. If they take away one thing, what do you want it to be?
If they take away one thing from this, making sure that it's equitable funding, because that houses everything else. So being sure that every student, no matter what zip code, receives adequate resources.
Thank you so much. And again, this is the Black Students Matter rally, and we're going to continue that coverage as well on all of our social media platforms. I'm live in downtown D.C. Colby Satterfield, WUSA 9.
We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
I do want to make sure that I don't ramble and get my points across. Because right now, as I look out, even though it's nice to see you, I'm kind of disappointed I don't see more black educators. But I think that while also understanding not many black educators have the privilege of living in D.C. I also understand that even though black educators want to be here, we're still trying to make sure we're staying 6 feet apart because of the disproportionate number of black people who are killed by COVID. And while we're worried about being 6 feet apart, we still have to worry about our students being 6 feet under. So let me just go ahead and take my points because that can get a little rowdy.
Such as Hagerstown, you'll see them anytime after 1 p.m. So we'll be dealing with showers and thunderstorms for the next few hours. Temperatures will get into the 80s. You can see around 6 o'clock we have a little bit more shower and storm activity across the metro. On Futurecast, we continue to track those showers and storms. This is at 5:30. They'll be scattered out, but I'm expecting a bit more coverage. They'll continue through the night. And then on Saturday morning, we're dry. By Saturday afternoon, around 2 o'clock, a few more showers. And the same story on Father's Day Sunday. We're looking at a few more showers and storms there as well. On your 7-day forecast, Saturday marks the first day of summer with a high around 82 and a few showers and storms. Father's Day Sunday, we're up to 85 degrees. The heat wave makes its way in, or should I say a little small extended period of heat comes in by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Highs soaring to the 90s. We're going to keep that storm chance in the forecast all the way through Thursday. But as we begin our next week, we keep the low pressure lingering around the area. And then finally, by late Wednesday, heading into Thursday, we do have some fronts that will be working their way across the area. That will shave off a few degrees, but definitely keep that shower and storm chance in the forecast. So if you do have those outdoor plans this weekend for Father's Day, I would say you're looking at some showers, especially after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but they will begin to dissipate once we get past the 6 o'clock hour. So just for a few hours, we'll see those showers in the forecast.
Senior Shout Out is sponsored by the University of the District of Columbia.
All right, before we head to break, we want to give shout outs to some local seniors graduating this year. Congratulations to Jarek Bravo, who's graduating from McLean High School. And a shout out to Amani Basker. She's graduating from the University of Maryland Global Campus. Love that picture too. Best of luck to you both. Again, congratulations. If you
often mirror
I walk to school a lot when we walk our dogs. Have a good day.
So this next person is a very special person. Her name is Gracie. Gracie. Up here. She used to be a student at Turner Elementary, where I'm from. If you're here from Turner, say woo woo. Woo woo. If you're here from Turner, say woo woo. Woo woo. All right, come. She's Gracie. Clap it up for Gracie.
I'm going to read a poem about Hey Black Child by Hey Black Child, do you know who you really are? Do you know you can be what you want to be if you try to be what you can be? Hey Black Child, do you know where you are going? Where you're really going? Do you know you can learn what you want to learn if you try to learn what you can learn? Hey Black Child, do you know you are strong? I mean, really strong. Do you know you can do what you want to do if you try to do what you can do? Hey Black Child, be what you want to be. Learn what you must learn. Do what you can do. And tomorrow your nation will be what you want it to be. This message is to all the educators. Black students don't want to be bullied. Black students don't want to be alone. Black students don't want to feel like white students don't want to learn with them. Black students don't want to feel segregated. Black students want to learn from one another. Black students want to lose people. Don't want to lose people deeply. Black students want to be independent. Black students want to persevere. Black students want to support one another. It will help us be successful. Black students want to work together. Black students want to make friends. Black students want to make the school free. Black students need your passion. Black students need clean and beautiful schools and classrooms. This is why I demand of educators. I demand you to work with students at their level to help them grow and succeed. I demand you to help to give students time to reflect and learn from their mistakes. I demand you to grab your students' attention by showing videos, by letting them move around, and teach them things that matter to them. I demand you to happy. We learn from your happiness, and your happiness impacts us. When I say black students, you say matter. Black To others, they're believing that he, an average black boy, could perfectly recite a 12-minute TED Talk at 6 years old. I can't seem to hear the break. But why? Why is it that teachers rather poster what you can't do than ever acknowledge what you can? Why is it that schools teach you enough to pass, but not enough to unlock your full potential? Why is it that our country doesn't uplift boys like me with the same skin tone like mine to embrace what's possible and rise above the stereotypes? So let me set the record straight. My name is Kavanaugh Bell. I'm 7 years old. I'm in first grade. And if you must describe me like this. He's a Mensa member, a learner of Chinese, a public speaker, a social justice activist. We are extraordinary. We're the change makers and ground shakers that this world needs to build a better future. So say it with me. No justice, no peace. Have a happy Juneteenth, everyone. There's love and there's fear. Go back and watch the connection to right. That's your act. Allow yourself to visualize how equitable education is going to look for our black students. Allow yourself to inhale love, to build yourself up with confidence.